Hello there, lovely people. So, when I was a kid, I lived in India, and while I was doing so, there was a line that we used to say quite often. It was something kind of a coping line that you would say when something bad happened to you, and you would say, "जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है." It basically means whatever happens, it happens for a good reason. And that line never really struck, hit me. Uh, I never really understood it. Like, how can you ever say that whatever happens happens for a good reason? Let's say I'm walking down a road and I fall down and I scrape my knees, and now I cannot go to the picnic that I was going to go with my friends. I have to stay home now. Or I fell ill just one day before a very big trip, and I am just left alone. And I'm not even going to go towards the darker things that might come to your mind. Uh, those things didn't come to my head either when I was a kid, so I'm not going to bring those up. But you can assume that there are a lot of context, a lot of example at which someone might give when they hear the statement, whatever happens, happens for a good reason. And whenever I heard it and I brought these topics up, I was always given the same answer, near about always. It's just the God's will. God decides what happens and why it happens. And my science teacher also brought it up once. Uh, we were talking about having luck, and there's people, if you fall down, that's just a bad luck. So he brought up a topic. Let's say there are six people who are going through a jeep on a really hilly area, and one of them, the driver, has a really bad luck. Let's assume it's the worst luck you can ever imagine. And as they're walking, a boulder falls down and it crushes all of them, and then they all die. Does this mean that the all other six people had bad luck as well? What if it's a plane? Do all of the people in the plane have to have a bad luck for it to crash and die, or does like 550 people having a bad luck kill all of them, or 20 people, or 10? Is there a fixed number? What I'm saying is, at what point does it stop being luck? So because of these reasons, I stopped believing in theism, in God and luck and providence and all of those things. And I still don't believe on those things. But this book, Meditations, and the section we are going to talk about now, does give a better answer than what I got as a kid. So till now, we started talking about this book 2. So far, we've read section 1 and section 2, and today we're going to read about section 3. And in this section, the writer talks about providence. So the first line here goes, "Whatever the gods ordain is full of wise forethought. The workings of chance are not apart from nature, and not without connection and intexture with the design of the providence." So basically, the writer is talking about the same thing that I heard as a kid, that whatever happens, it's because the God wills it. And the working of chance are not apart from nature, and not without connection and interaction with design of providence. So basically, nothing happens because of chance. It's all designed by the God. Providence is the source of all things, and besides, there is necessity and the utility of the nature of which you are a part. So this is the section to which it made a difference to me. All right. So the first thing is simple. Simple. Providence is the source of all things. Providence, as we've talked about a few times, is the way we describe God in this section. God, immortality, mankind, whatever you might call it, something that is greater than you. And that is how we describe providence in this book. Providence is the source of all things, and besides, there is necessity and the utility of universe of which you are a part. Here's the important part. You are not the entire universe. You are not the center of universe. You are just a part of it. And that shifted my entire worldview, I should say. Like, yeah, I fell down. So what? Who cares? The world doesn't revolve around me. A really good example is, let's say it's a really cold place, right? It's a it's the middle of the winter and people are getting really cold. So they decide to cut some logs and burn a fire. And within the fire, they will throw wood at certain time. The more they put in words, the brighter the fire burns. Fire is burning, people are happy. Think from the perspective of the wood. Assume I'm trying to make it human. I guess I think there was a word for it. Not really sure about. I will have to look it up. I'll put it down here somewhere. Uh, think from the perspective of the wood. It's just getting burned for no reason. Once the wood gets thrown into the fire, it's gone. It's burned down. The wood doesn't know about the people. It doesn't know why it's getting burned down. And some good is happening there, but the wood will never know. Because the wood is not the center of the universe. Neither are the people, though. Neither are the people. All of them are just part of the universe or the nature of the providence. That shifted my worldview. We're so used to thinking us as the center of the universe. And so this section, and the utility of the universe of which you are a part, this was awesome. Okay, so I will continue going on. For to every part of a being that is good, which spring from nature of the whole and tends to its preservation. Uh, and if you assume all of the universe as a being, any being, what is good for a being? What is good for a being? Anything that keeps it longer. It doesn't have to be comfortable. Anything that survives. Survival of the fittest and evolution. What is it all trying to teach you? Anything that survives stays longer. Reproduction and other things as well. So you can study it in science. And it's a really good topic, evolution. So what survives in nature? Anything. I'll go to what keeps going through the generation? Anything that survives. So the entire of evolution is to make people survive better, not to make their life more comfortable, but to make them survive longer. So is for the universe. Universe also tries to keep on going. The entire system, the entire being always tries to keep on going. It doesn't mean it has to be comfortable. It just has to keep on surviving. Now the order of the nature is preserved in the changes of the element, just as it is in the changes of things that are compound. The order of the nature is preserved in the changes of the element. And how is nature ordered? How does nature maintain its order? Through the change of the element. All things change from one form to another. Water changes from steam, steam changes to water again, and ice and whatever, everything changes forms. People people live, people die, people get born again. Are the same people? Who knows? They might. I'm not really a reincarnation guy, but I don't know. What I'm trying to say is everything changes through time. Even people, they get older. Things generally get worse. Fire burns, water drips, everything changes from one thing to the other over time. That is nature. A seed you sowed in the ground 10 years ago will turn to a tree. That is nature. That is what nature is. Nature is the order of changes through time. Changes of the element, changes of everything. That is nature. That is what nature is in essence. Just as it is the changes of things that are compound. For every for to every part of a being that is good, which spring from the nature of the whole, and tends to its preservation. If something comes from nature of the whole system, it belongs there. Good doesn't mean comfortable. It means appropriate to how things work. And changes, decay, loss preserves the universe by allowing renewal. Without death, nothing new could exist. So these are things that the section is trying to point out, which is kind of they're simultaneously really something really simple, as well as something we don't really think about anymore. We are all afraid of death. We are all afraid of growing old, but that is the way things are. Mm, Like you cannot imagine how much people spend money just to not get older, not die. But that is the way things are. That is what nature is. Nature exists to allow for. Nature is a system that allows one thing to move to the next phase. What was a kid once will turn into teenager, adult, old age, and die. The entire process is nature, not one particular instance. What was once a seed will turn into a sprout, will turn into a tree, and will wither and fade away. And in that same place, a new tree will form. That is what nature is. And we often tend to forget that. We often tend to get really, really into this particular we are currently at right now. I am currently really attached to this mortal body at this particular time. I don't want to get older, neither do I want to get younger. I am perfect as I am. However, I will never remain the way I am right now. I am not the way I was when I started this video 14 minutes ago. I had not thought about things that I'm thinking right now. Neither do I know what thoughts I will have 14 minutes from now. I might be a completely different person, mentally, physically, who knows? Because nature is the changing of the things from one moment to the next moment. And nature is the changing of the element from one moment to the next. And as we said, anything that comes from nature will always be good. Not comfortable, but good to the preservation of the nature. So something we might feel is bad to us will always be for the good of nature. The logs burning down, or the burning of a log is no different from the burning of the house. And it is no different from me scraping my knees, is no different from a car crashing down. They all feel different to the people involved. Obviously, a log doesn't have a feeling, and even if it does have, it didn't tell me. And if I scrape my knees, I will feel it worse than just knowing someone died. If someone died, then they will. If someone nearly died, then they will, or if someone is close to dying, then they will think that that is the worst experience that's happening to them. And they will not think about the nature of the universe the same way that we are thinking right now. So obviously, things seem different to different people at different moment in time, but they are all collectively a part of nature, and nature will always work to preserve itself. So this is something that is a bit finicky, and I don't really know if I'm doing a very good job explaining it or if I'm just trying to show myself as a psychopath who doesn't have empathy. Whatever do you think about it, just point it out and comment. I might seem like a psychopath after the comment about me scraping my knees not being any worse than someone dying though. So sorry about that. So what I was saying was, what I meant by that was, they are all something that are in nature and they all serve a purpose. I didn't really mean that nothing is bad, but that each of them serve a purpose. Something that we may not always be privy to. The log does not know why it's being burnt. I do not know why I was left at home when my friend went out. I don't know why. Why do I keep bringing the same thing up? I don't know why something bad happened to me. I don't know why something good happened to me. I don't know why my friend got the promotion that I wanted. I don't know any of those things, but they all happen. So I can either say that uh, so I can either get angry at the universe, or I can just accept them as they are and continue moving with my life. So this section was kind of a finicky, and it's also a bit harder for someone like me because I am by nature an atheist, as I explained at the beginning of this video. This section does point out at some questions that I had as a kid, which I don't really think I would want answered. I was looking answer for, but I'm thankful for those answers. Unfortunately, my questions are a bit more regarding the nature of the universe are a bit more complicated than why does bad thing happen to some people. So yeah, but it does help me a bit to know the answer of those questions. The little kid inside me jumps with joy because he finally got the answer he wanted. So that was that was what we are going. So that was it. The nature of the universe is, if you consider nature to be as a person or as any being, it will always find the way for its self preservation. If it has to, and you as someone who is a part of nature, not the center of it, may find that what is good for the being may not always be good for you. You are just a part of nature, not the entirety of nature, not the center of the nature, not something nature cares about. You are just, I really wanted to make this joke. You are just you are just a mitochondria within a cell. If the body finds some other way to make powerhouse, it will just kick you out. Okay, so, and the purpose of this video is not really to make you cynical about your life. Rather, it is to teach you that not everything has to make sense. Some things are alright, even if they don't make sense. What you should instead do is focus on yourself. If nature is going to move in the way that best suits itself, then you should move in the way that best serves the nature. For that, you might have to do good. You have to have a strong sense of a creed, what you want in your life and how you can achieve it. Whatever you decide and whatever your reason might be, you have to know about it and move for it wholeheartedly. And know that you chose those reasons, because the nature might kick you out at any time for any reason, and you have to. And when the time comes, you cannot be taken by surprise. You just have to accept things as they are, as they always will be, as they ever were. So yeah, this topic was kind of a hard one. I assume some of you guys might be scratching your head. If I had to simple it out, I would just say nature is always changing, and it will always change, with or without you. So make sure you live your life as a worthwhile. Make sure you live a worthwhile life. That when the death comes, or when the end comes, or change comes, you don't really feel sorry for yourself, and you can say with a pride that yeah, I'm really happy to live the life that I lived. So yeah, that was it for the today's video, guys. If you have any suggestion or any point that you would like to point out to me, write in the comments. If you want to call me a psychopath for the comment that I made about me scraping my knees not being any worse than someone dying, then do so in the comments. It's fine. If you found this video helpful, or if you thought that I wasn't really good at explaining something, then do point it out in the comments. And those who hopefully understood what I meant, please do reply in their comments. So yeah, see you guys. If you like this video, subscribe, like, share, and whatever else you might decide is good for me.